Hello everybody, this is the reading room for scary stories. Okay, everybody get your blankets ready and your diapers because today's scary story is about to begin. The following is a work of fiction. This work contains scenes which may be disturbing for some readers, so those with weak hearts are advised not to read on. A new email. I'm terrified to open it because I know that there's something very wrong with it. The Vault of Horrors, a collection of nightmares. Research. Mid-May 2011, Junho and I were preparing a special summer horror comic for Naver. Junho was writing the story and I was doing the artwork. Junho went to do some research on a place he wanted to use for his story. It was an old abandoned hospital somewhere. We see Junho out of breath. Ah! Help! Ah! We see a man sitting on his computer. Ah! We see a man sitting on his computer. He was probably hoping to surprise the readers with this. It looks like the overall structure is pretty much set up, but when I actually draw it out, it's not very scary. If Junho's having trouble coming up with a good scenario, then I should try to think of something. Bzzz. Oh, it's him. Hey, out doing research? How's it going? Think we've got a good story for a horror comic? I've been looking around, but I haven't found anything too exciting yet. But now that I'm here, I'm sure I'll be able to think of something. We'll just have to wait a bit longer. Anyway, the signal in here isn't very good, so it's not easy to call you. Even now, I was just barely able to find a signal. I'm surprised. I figured there were antennas all over the place. I never thought there'd be a place in Korea where phones don't work. Well, if you have trouble calling, just text me. Any ideas you get. I'll email you any good ideas or materials that I find too. Cool, sounds good. But hey, when do you think you'll be back? I'm still not. Shh. The phone cuts off. Hello? Junho? It cut off. Looks like the signal really is bad. The guy looks at his phone. 2:27 a.m. Where the heck is he at this time of night? I attached some pictures for you, so check them out. It seems to be a pretty famous abandoned hospital. They say it's because a lot of patients died or went insane for no reason. Rumors say that the doctors used to drill holes in patients' heads and do some kind of weird experiments. And since it closed down, apparently anyone who came here out of curiosity either died from strange disease or went missing. There are a lot of these kinds of stories. They've tried summoning shamans to cleanse the place, but they always pass out during the ceremony, so nobody comes around here anymore. I'm trying to tell myself that they are just stories, but being here gives me the creeps. The man looks uncomfortably at the screen. I got a strange feeling after looking at the email and the attached pictures. I tried calling Junho, but I just couldn't get through to him. Now that I think back on it, maybe it wasn't that he wouldn't answer. Maybe he couldn't answer. The next night, I got another email. There was nothing written on the second. There was just what looked like a picture of the dark interior of the abandoned hospital. He clicks on it. The rusty old operating tables looked more like torture racks, and there were all kinds of tools and bits of things scattered on the ground. I kept expecting someone to jump out at me from one of the doors lining this seemingly endless hallway. The last picture in particular really disturbed me. It was just a shot of pitch black. I couldn't make out a thing, but it wasn't just normal darkness. I could definitely see the shape of something lurking in the dark. I kept trying to call Junho, but I couldn't reach out for several days. Whenever I called him, I could just hear a faint buzzing sound in the background. It was the kind of sound an old squeaky machine might make if it needed some oil. Bzz, bzz. And then finally, I got a third email from him. Strange. He sent me an email, but he won't pick up his phone. The man clicks on it. I decide to think about that later and just open the email for now. What the? It was a jumbled mess of words and letters. Maybe it's some kind of internet or computer problem. Or maybe he's trying to mess with me. He hasn't lost his mind going to that hospital, has he? I ignored my anxieties for the moment and opened the attached picture. In the first picture, there was someone laying in the dark operating table, and beside that, there was a doctor in an operating gown. In the next picture, the doctor had turned his head and seemed to be glaring at the camera. In the pale doctor's hand, there was a surgical drill. Those cold eyes seemed to be gazing at me right through the monitor. It was only when I tore my eyes away from his and directed them to the person on the table that I saw something really unnerving. The shoes and clothes of the person laying on the table were Junho's. What is going on? I reported it to the police, but they still haven't found him. There isn't a single trace of evidence in the hospital that Junho was ever even there. I kept remembering that doctor's face. I'm afraid that Junho's going to suddenly call me. Thankfully, he still hasn't. But I got another email. Don't open it. I'm terrified to open it. Because I know that there's something very wrong with it. As if possessed, my hand took on a life of its own and clicked the attached picture. Click. It was just a shot of pure darkness. It was so dark, it looked like the monitor had shut off. The dark monitor was like a mirror reflecting my own face. And then I saw the doctor standing behind me, staring at me. Oh, heck no. Sir, today's the deadline for the special horror comic, but we still haven't heard from the author or artist. Did they say they were going to be late? I'm not sure. I tried calling them yesterday, but all I could hear was a weird buzzing sound. Should I try again? The author just sent me a copy of the comic. The title is The Vault of Horror, The Collection of Nightmares. Research. So, did the doctor turn in the story? The story I just read was the story they turned in. So they're probably still alive. And I still think they're alive. What do you guys think? Leave a like if you want me to read part 2 of this collection. And they're pretty cool. I think I will really like this. Subscribe. Yeah.